I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, for joining us on this Saturday morning. We have two great presentations. The first, Engaging Students in Fun Online Learning, which will be about an hour. And then after that, we have a presentation on engaging students with Twitter. If you do need a certificate, please email me within an hour after the webinars. Just type in my email here. And I can send those out to you within a week or so. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box on the right, or at the end, we will probably have time for questions. A note about the links as well. Most of the links will work. You should be able to click them on the screen. I will also be posting them in the chat box, and this will take you outside of Big Blue Button to view or listen to any of the media on your own, just kind of while the webinar is going, and Maria and Liz will instruct you on those types of things. Okay, let me just mute users. I'm going to pass the presentation rights over to Maria. And thank you very much. Please take it away, Maria and Liz.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us in our webinar today. My name is Maria Glass.
And my name is Romero. Welcome, everybody.
Okay, we are going to start. I would just like to make sure that everybody can hear. No. Glenn? Okay. Just waiting to have. Okay. All right. So if everybody can hear us, we are going to start. All right. My name is Maria. Again, I live in Toronto and I work for George Brown College. And we are going to share with you our experience developing and designing an online course. Liz?
I'm with Romero. I am an instructional designer for the Center for E-Learning and my work involves professors to put courses online, and I will share with you the course that we both put online. Thank you.
Just a moment. Liz, your sound is chopped. I don't know what we should do, Glenn. Yes.
Yeah, Liz, you're breaking up a little bit. I think maybe you can just either move your microphone a little closer to your mouth or a little further away, and hopefully that'll solve any problems. Or if it doesn't, again, try logging in and out with the headset and adjusting your microphone volume. But we can hear you. It's just breaking up. Sorry, please.
The place is shop too. I think it's because we're close. Could be.
It's breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it sounds good, and you sound good too, Maria.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
So let's continue. All right. Our agenda for today. We are going to, first of all, explain why we developed these courses. We are going to set the stage. And then we are going to explain the model we used for this course. And we are going to go over some of the highlights of our course. And the name of our superstar is Avatu. And that's why we say Meet Avatu. And then we are going to tell you a little bit about the pilots that we had and all the lessons we learned and what we plan to do in the future. So regarding the online learning at GBC, it's a college-wide initiative. We are trying to have for all courses to have an online component. The tool available for us is Blackboard. So we use Blackboard at the college, 9.1. Several challenges we had to go through. For one thing, teachers that do not have experience with online courses, teachers that do not have any experience with Blackboard, and also the very difference between a typical English course than a typical online course and what we wanted to introduce, which was learning by doing. So we had several challenges. We enjoyed the challenges because that's how we are. And we are still working on trying to solve the problems we came across. So Liz.
The learning management system that we use to develop this course is Blackboard. To develop this course is Blackboard. That's the learning management system. However, we have several learning management systems in the market that are very well known. For example, Moodle, Desire to Learn, and Sakai. However, all the course management systems have the same concept behind them. Those are virtual spaces where instructors can have content, students can meet, and review the content, do the activities. It's basically a virtual that is open 24/7 for the students, and all the learning management systems are basically the same thing.
Liz, your sound is still breaking up.
It's still breaking up.
But I think yours too. I think it's because we are close. It's my sound. How is my sound at the other end?
For some people it was work, or it was okay. Glenn, I don't know what to do. We still have this problem.
Hi, Maria. It's the sound was okay. Don't worry about anything unless it comes from me or Natalia, because you were breaking up a little bit, but it's good enough to move forward. So continue. I'm going to switch your mics back and forth as you two are switching between you. So please go ahead.
All right. So Liz, you can continue.
Okay. So this is the model that we use to design and develop the course. It's different to other models in the sense that instead of we having content and activities for the students, we have tasks that students need to do. This is, as the name of the model, by doing. Has several components that we use to guide the work that we did. The first component is the goal. Any teaching and learning situation starts with a goal. A goal helps the teacher to focus and to help students to reach the goal. In this case, we had a set of goals. We had 4 goals. We had a listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So the whole course was geared to help students reach those skill areas. The model starts with the cover story. In this case, the cover story was that students needed to create an avatar. Their mission was to create an avatar, and also their mission was to live online adventures or experiences as avatar, because once they created the avatars, they became their avatars, and they start a whole adventure. The online adventure started with creating the avatar, finding a friend, going on a trip, sending a postcard to the teacher, calling the doctor, etc. We also had some scenarios of operation, which is basically the task that students need to do. They had to call a doctor and leave a message. They had to write a postcard. They had to look for a job, and they had to practice a job interview. So for all of those, we created resources and feedback. The resources were in the form of instructions, step-by-steps, to use the software for creating the avatar. We also had wikis, blogs for to interact with each other and complete the task. And the resources were also in terms of questions. We had questions to guide the work of the students. And we had a model called Avatar, which is the avatar for level 2. Avatar was a model that would help students visualize what they needed to do. We also encourage the teacher to provide feedback to the students at each stage of the online adventure. Next slide.
My turn now. Okay, it's my turn now. So the course that we developed was for level 2, as Liz said, and we had initially 8 weeks and several tasks for each week. And for week 1, of course, the idea was to create an avatar, and we had some guidelines. We had lots of examples, and let me show you the very first avatar that we had. If you can open the Dropbox, you will be able to see. All right. So unfortunately, some of you did not have audio, but if you click on the link that Glenn provided, you will be able to see it. So this is Avatar 2, and Avatar 2 will be the avatar guiding the students throughout the story they have in the level 2 online course. Liz, would you like to say something?
I would like to make a comment. The set of guiding questions that we provided to them, some of them, more than questions, are just choices. So I just, for example, short, or the other. The intention of this set of questions is to make this first for the students. We wanted them to succeed in this first activity. Why? Because to create the confidence necessary to keep on going. Also, teaching and learning situation, we have students with different learning styles. Thought field-dependent students, they stick to the choices and just keep them. However, for field-independent students, questions and use the question just as a guide, just to give them ideas of what else could they do. Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
All right. So this was the very first mission. They had to create an avatar. So we are going to show you some avatars that they created. Oh, we have some ideas here. Okay. All right. So before we show you some avatars, this is Voki. This is the website we used, the tool we used to create our avatars. Liz, would you like to say something about Voki?
I'm sorry, Maria. I'm sorry.
Would you like to say something?
Well, no. Yes. Before we pick Bucky, time to search for avatar creators, and we found many avatar creators. However, some of them students needed to pay. We didn't want that. Some of them were very complicated. We didn't want that students because this it's a lower level English course. So we selected Bucky because it's easy to use and it's fun. Thank you, Maria.
All right. Some samples from the students. I hope you can see them, or you can click on the links that Glenn will provide. This is a lovely one, and another one for you. Wonderful. So someone mentioned here that they speak very quickly. This is what the student wanted. As you could see, that sample number one, the avatar spoke very quickly. But sample number two, the avatar spoke slowly. So it depends on what the student wants. So we have the students create their own avatar, and the avatars were the characters that participated in the tasks that we had throughout the course. Liz?
As you could see with the avatar, we could see one of the avatars sticking strictly to the questions and the other one going a little bit beyond the questions. So actually that was our idea, providing the guiding questions to give them structure and at the same time freedom questions.
Okay. So some students decided to use some of the voices that Voki provides, but you can use your own voice, or you can even record your voice over the telephone. There are many possibilities. So let's keep going. So here we have another one of the tasks that we had over the course. So the avatar has a problem, and the avatar decides to write a letter to an advice column. So first of all, when we developed this course followed the curriculum of the level 2 course here at George Brown. So everything that the students needed to have in terms of structure, they had in class with their teacher. Now it's the forum for the students to practice the structures that they learned in class in a free environment where they were using their own language and where they were they were able to express whatever they wanted to. It's a free activity. So as you can see here, we have some examples. My teacher caught me cheating on a test. I'm so ashamed. I don't want to go back to class. Or something, my rent is too bad, and my rent is not bad, and I like my place very much. The only problem is my landlord. We know that these are some of the situations our students go through. So they can relate to the situations, but they do not have to be themselves when they talk about these situations. And the idea was they write a letter to an advice column, and all students have access to these letters, and then they answer these, they choose one or two letters, and they give some advice to these avatars. This?
Again, here we provided the guiding questions. However, we who had their own problems, and the question were just only gave them ideas to bring their own problems to the course.
So
to mention that if anybody has a question at this point, they can just write them in the chat. To wait of the end.
So here are some samples of student work. So as you can see, the first is the letter with the problem, and then the bottom bubble is the answer. So the students went online and they read all the problems that their fellow avatars had, and then they wrote something in response. I'll give you some time to read the responses. And as Liz said, if you want to ask any questions, just jump in or just type them up. We do use, I've used Audacity many times, but it is a little bit difficult for students.
The good thing with Rocky that we really liked was that we could create that computer generated voice. So for this level of students, that would give them confidence. Like they didn't actually need to speak at the beginning, so they could add their voice, but not necessarily. They could just input the text, and then we get the computer generated voice.
Okay. So here we have another activity. So this time Avatar needs a job. So we have a few job ads, and they are at their own pace. They can read their ads, and then they choose one to try and get an interview. So this is the employment application form that we created, and Liz was able to have it online and in a way that students could fill out their forms and save. And here are some examples.
My connection.
Liz lost her connection, so I'll see what's going on. Can you see, if you can see, this is the employment application form. It's very complex, and this one was filled out by that avatar girl that you saw at the beginning. So she completed the application form and submitted it. And all of the teachers had access to all application forms, and we could give feedback to the students and let them know if there were any mistakes, and we could clarify things to the students. Yes, it is quite detailed. It's based on an employment application form in real life. What we wanted was, we wanted the students to have a real life experience, even though they were avatars. Yes, we try to, for all these experiences, we try to have more authentic materials for them to have some experiments. Liz seems to be still offline, so I will continue. Here we have another task. So Avatar gets sick. Well, they have so far experienced looking for a job and filling out an filling out an employment application form. And now it's another experience, getting sick. So we have symptoms and language on how to talk about their symptoms. And we have, as you can see here, we have an example of how to talk about that. And then the task was to write a note to a friend saying that, they were supposed to post their symptoms, and then their fellow avatars were going to read their postings and write a note giving advice. So, as you can see, it's a very complex task, but the way we present these tasks is we have all the steps, individual steps given, and we make sure that the students have all the guidance they need. So, first of all, as I said, they have the symptoms and the language on how to talk about the symptoms. Then they were able to decide what they had, the problem they had. Then they posted those problems. After that, their fellow avatars read all the postings on their fellow avatars' health and decided, picked one or two, and they had to write a note giving them some advice. I have a question here. Were you setting up the tasks according to CLB competencies? Well, our courses are benchmarked, and our level 2 is equivalent to CLB 3. Okay, so here are some examples. We have here the symptoms. As you can see, their language, we did not sanitize their language. It's what they wrote, we are keeping. So their language, and here you have a piece of advice from one of their fellow students. Another one, another set of symptoms here, and then a student chose this one to give some advice. I believe this PowerPoint presentation will be available, and Glenn can tell you more about that. So I think Liz is back. Liz?
So I am back.
I am back. The whole idea behind the course was helping students do authentic activities, real life activities, but at the same time in a fiction environment, because the students were not the students were their avatars. And as avatars, they were more able and more willing to take risk and go that extra miles, because were not themselves. They were acting as avatars. So we managed to have this fiction environment and performing real life tasks or activities. Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
All right. As Liz told you at the beginning, we have all skills here. We have listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Here, we are going to give you some examples of listening and speaking, how we did it. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about the task. The idea was that you remember that in some slides behind, Avatar 2 or one of the avatars had problems. They have health problem. So whatever advice they got from their friends did not work. So they decide to contact the doctor. When they call the doctor, they hit the voicemail. So they have to listen to the voicemail and then record their message. So let's see if we can hear that. As you can see, it is as authentic as possible. So the idea was to provide the students with an experience of real-life situation. So there was a question here if we had feedback given to the students online or in person. Well, the teachers have access to all the work of the students, so the teachers could give them feedback over Blackboard, and if any students needed something or needed some advice or feedback in person, the teachers were available. So as you can see here, after listening the voicemail, we tell them you have to plan your message. We give them some guidance as to how to plan their message. Then we give them an example. This is an example from Avatar 2. And then we teach them how to use a recording voicemail. And we are going to tell you about this. It's not here. Liz, would you like to talk about Vocaro?
I was going to, but I was kicked out just now.
Okay, so I'm going, while Liz try and solve the problems, I'm going to show you some of the samples we have here. I hope you can follow the samples, listen with me, or listen individually. Listen to that individually. Okay, something is going on. I cannot open my... I'll try again. Well, for some reason, mine is not working. Let me see another one. Okay. Unfortunately, mine is not working. The SoundCloud. Well, I was not able to work it. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody, but it's not working on my... Well, so Glenn was able to show you. I am trying. Yeah, it's not working for me right now for some reason.
Maria, do you mean you can't get to the page or it just won't play?
I can get to the page, but it won't play.
Try the links in the chat.
That's what, okay. Okay. But if you guys can hear it, then it's okay. Okay. All right. I think you were able to hear these samples. So the idea is to create that opportunity for the students to have this real life experience. We used Vocaroo, which is an interesting tool because it is free. It's very easy to use, and when you save it, it is in the system you want. You can use MP3, MP4. You decide what to have, what to do. Liz?
Oh, I am back. I wanted to make a comment.
I am back. I wanted to make a comment. I think Tracy mentioned about the feedback. This is a hybrid course. So in a hybrid course, we have the advantage of meeting the students in the classroom and in the online environment. So students were able to communicate with the teacher face-to-face and through the system. We also had sometimes the teacher meeting the students in the computer lab to start the activities, for example, for creating the avatars and for working in the different components of the learning management systems as the wiki and the blogs. So that is the advantage of this course, that we have both the face-to-face environment and the virtual environment.
So this is Vocaroo. As you can see here, that's the tool we used. This is so easy to use because it's right here on the screen. This is the first screen that you see when you enter Vocaroo. You just click, record, and then you have all the instructions here on how to save. Very easy and free. That was the reason why we used it. By the way, I usually say that Liz is the magician because I would come up with a task and then I would tell Liz, okay Liz, how do we do this? How are you going to turn this into reality? And then she would somehow do whatever she knows how doing, and then she would create this the possibility, turn those ideas into a real thing. So Vocaroo, easy, free, and the students can record anything. Okay.
Yes, here.
This.
Just a comment
About Vocaroo, we had also evaluated several software, and we decided that Vocaroo was the simplest one. We thought about Audacity. We tested some of other systems to record, and we reached the conclusion that for the level of the students and to reach our learning goals, Vocaroo was the best option.
Definitely. All right.
So let's see another listening activity. So the idea was to have them listen to something, help them, give them some practice, and then write down their answers. So what we had, they called the doctor, as you can remember. They had to leave a message. Then they go to the doctor's office. While they are waiting to see the doctor, a nurse comes in and starts asking questions about a questionnaire. I'm sorry, this is another one. I got confused. I am sorry. This is a listening activity. So what we have here is an example of a nurse talking with a patient, and the students are supposed to fill in the questionnaire. Let me see if mine works now. For some reason, It's not working.
I want to mention here that this fillable form
is just a Word document, and we made a Word document with fillable boxes and fields. It's very easy to do, and we created an interactive activity here for the students.
Right. So let's listen to it.
It works for some. Works well for Tracy.
Okay, so the idea is to have this conversation between a nurse and a patient. And the students have the health questionnaire in front of them, and they have to fill it up. I'm going to show you some examples. Here are some examples of the students' work. This is one example. The conversation ends with a student saying that she has a terrible headache. So we end here other relevant information. Her headaches, for some reason there's an S here, is killing her. That's very cute. There's another one here. I hope you can all have access to these samples. They are in PDF. There's one, the student did not fill these areas out, but some of the areas, yes. And as you can see, the students decided what to write. One wrote, her headache is killing her. Another one wrote headache, and some information here, the date, the name of the information they were able to collect. I like sample C very much. As you can see, sample C shows that the student the student's first language is probably Arabic, because we have here Penelope with a B instead of P. It's a typical mistake, and it was cute. And again, the student was able to catch the headache that the student had. Very interesting listening activities and very interesting understanding of the conversation. If you have an opportunity to listen to the conversation between the nurse and the student, and then check the students' questionnaires, you will see what they were able to catch and what they were not. Liz?
Well, I need to mention here that this course was a really a challenge for the students, because after being used to being told instead of being doing, here students were doing throughout the course, and not only being doing, they were acting as teachers sometimes. In that activity where they needed to give advice to other avatars, they were acting as teachers. They were telling other students what to do instead of being told by the teacher.
All right.
Okay. So there, as you can remember, the students had, the avatars had to look for a job, so they completed an employment application form. Well, they now get a phone call from someone asking them, inviting them for an interview. Let's listen to the message that they found on their voicemail. I think I can get it. As you could hear, the students have to make a decision on the day they are available, and they have to contact the company, letting them know the day they are available. And do I have to sign up to listen? No. I don't understand the question. To sign up, to listen, sign up to what? Well, so I'll continue. The idea was that they were going to call, but then it was going to be after hours. They were going to leave a message. Again, we helped them how to plan the message. We gave them some examples, and then we were able to ask them to do the task. So here are some examples. I hope you can hear them. Okay, sample number 1. This one, the student got confused and could not complete. And what I tell my students is that if we don't plan, we get confused, and we end up not being able to leave a message. Let's see the other one. So this is another example. I hope you were able to hear the examples, and it's the orange circle on the top left-hand side corner. Liz?
The good thing is that students can do this over and over and over.
They have more than one opportunity to record the message.
All right. So back to me. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we learned. Our program, our school decided to turn all courses hybrid, meaning all courses would have an online component. So we were given some time to develop and design the courses. Well, we had lots of ideas, and we ended up developing and designing way too many tasks. So what we understood, what we learned from our pilots, which we had in September, October, the lessons we learned were: we need shorter course. We planned for 8 weeks, and that's not realistic. We need to have less than 8 weeks because all the logistics regarding having our students attached to Blackboard, etc. So if your course, let's say our courses here are 8 weeks, we should not have an online course that covers all 8 weeks. We should plan for 7 or even less, 6. Liz?
Yes, as I mentioned before, this course
As I mentioned,
challenge for
this course was a real challenge for students because they were exposed to a new way of learning. However, for teachers, was also a challenge, and more than a challenge, it was a paradigm shift. This it means changing the way I am used to teach, teaching in a different way. This is a student-centered course. This is a course where students have the main role. They are the main characters of this course, and that's why it was a challenge for the teacher who taught the course. And for next terms, we think that we need to provide more support to the teachers, guidance to the teachers. Thank you, Maria.
All right.
A shorter course, fewer tasks, because we have to also keep in mind that not all students have experience with the internet. At first, I thought that this would not be possible, but it's possible. We had one student during our pilots who, for the very first time in her life, she had an email account. So things happen. We have to keep that in mind. So we may have students who are very proficient in using computers and using the internet, but some students may not be. We need lots of in-class demonstrations, hard copy instructions. I'm going to show you here. One of our students decided to develop this. This is basically what we had for week 1, but she put this on a handout and gave it to the students. The students who had a hard time using the internet, navigating Blackboard, really appreciated this. So, well, again, we have to keep in mind that not all students are proficient in using computers and the internet, navigating the internet. That's why hard copy instructions can be useful. This did not occur to me. It was something that one of the teachers created. Well, as Liz said, having computer lab time is very good. If you have access to a lab, it is a good idea to introduce some tasks when you are there. Liz?
Just to go back to the question, how many hours of class of instruction were associated with the course? Initially, we had thought about 20% of the course, but later on it was shortened because the first week.
To the first week, students needed to get familiar with the environment, so it was ended of what 10% course. I also that what's next for this course? We have talked about the design, development, the online tools that we use for the course. The next stage is to collect students or the other way of teaching. So the next stage is to conduct research on the effectiveness of learning.
Okay. So another thing is lots of enthusiasm and ongoing support to teachers. There is a question here. Do you have issues with the students not having access to the internet at home? Yes. Yes, we have. We had some students who said that they do not have access to the internet at home, or we had students who said that they could not record their messages because they did not have a microphone. For students who did not have access to the internet, we said, well, you can use the library here, so that's not an excuse. But again, some students did not have a microphone. So this is something that I am thinking about for next time. For whenever we have activities that require a microphone, I think the teachers should ask the students if they all have a microphone, and if they don't, since in our school we do have some microphones available, we could ask students to do that over our microphones. But indeed, someone is writing here that they have smartphones. That's right, they can use their smartphones. All of the students that come here, they all have a smartphone. That can be done over smartphones. Liz?
Right. I would say that technical problems were at the beginning.
We had a lot of technical problems, but as the weeks progress, the problems become less and less. So this was a new course, so we had the student side and teacher side. The teachers who were teaching the course were not the teacher who designed and developed the course, so they need to learn about the course and then help students. So we had here a double layer to teach.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
thanks, Maria and Liz. I'm going to jump in here. That's yeah, that's a good point about when you have designers and teachers who are different people. But we are running out of time, so if anybody does have more questions, I encourage you to use our discussion forum in Tutela, which I'll be posting after FACE session, which is up next. So thank you very much, Maria and Liz. It was a fantastic presentation. Thank you very much. We'll take a 2 or 3 minute break, and then we'll have Faith presenting on engagement and Twitter. Thank you very much, Maria.
thank you very much.